In this tutorial, we're going to build a complete online course that will be put on the virtual learning environment for students to access wherever they are. To get the best experience of the virtual learning environment, I advise you use these two browsers, Mozilla Firefox and Google Chrome. So I'm first of all going to launch my Mozilla Firefox. And in the address bar, I'm going to type the address for the virtual learning environment, which is vle.umat.edu.gh. We'll wait for the page to load. Once it loads, we'll be required to enter our username and our password. At the moment, most of the lecturers have received a username and a password. Those of us who did not receive the username and password via email can also log in by clicking on this Google icon over here. This will take us to a page where we would enter our username, our UMAT email, and our password to get access to the system. So I'm first of all going to click on this one. To log on to. Okay, so from here I'm going to enter my email address. So I've created an account for a lecturer. So I will enter the details of the lecturer, then the password to log on to the virtual learning environment. Alright, so once I'm logged in, I'm told from here that an existing account was found with this email address, but it's not linked yet. So at the moment, an email has been sent to this address for me to activate the account. So I can just click on continue and come to my email address. So this is the email. Within the mail, I have the email that was sent by the system to my email address. So I'll click on that, go through these information and click on this link. That is what is going to activate the account for me to start the process. Alright, so once I'm in, I'm told thanks, lecturer UMAT, your registration has been confirmed. So the next thing to do is to create courses. At the moment, every lecturer has been given access to create courses and also invite students to be part of the course. So we're first of all going to create a course. So I click on courses. So once we click on the courses button, we'll be taken to this page, which will list all the departments that are available in the university. So before we get started with the course creation, there are some few things that we will be doing, and I would want to talk about it. The first one is the upload of all necessary content into the course. And the second one is to create activities that students would get themselves involved with, as well as the lecturer too. Now, in uploading all the necessary content into the course, there are four main things that we'll be doing. We will be adding lecture materials. We will learn how to create online resources which are important to our course and link them within our course. We'll also learn how to add a video in a teaching session. So by this I mean to say, if there is an assignment given to students and the lecturer wants to further explain in a video form for the students to know, this can be done in the course. The next one would be to embed YouTube video into our course. So if a lecturer sees a video online somewhere and he sees it's necessary or related to his course, he can incorporate it into the course by embedding it into the lecture, into the course. Now, in the activity and modules that the student will get themselves involved in, as we already know, we are not in normal times, and most of our students at the moment are home, and the lecturers are also working from home. So we would learn how to create a live video lecture with our students, teach them what we would want them to know about maybe the topics that we have in the course. We also would learn how to create assignments for our students. And again, in situations where an announcement needs to be made to students, we will learn an activity called an announcement, how to create it and schedule and give this announcement to students. We'll also go through how to create attendance to know the students that get themselves involved with the course that is being taught. We will click on other features and create an activity like a feedback. So for instance, if a lecturer is halfway within the semester, we want to know the feedback of students. You can create a feedback to get their comments before the semester ends, or before maybe the quality assurance units bring up their lecturer assessments for students to take. The next one is to create a Turnitin assignments, where students would load maybe a Word document into the system for the lecturer to mark. This way the lecturer gets to see the similarity reports of every student, and possibly if the student's similarity report goes beyond the approved one, you probably might choose not to mark it at all. Okay, so the next one will be to learn how to create MCQs in the virtual learning environment. By MCQs, we'll be dealing with quizzes. The PDF tutorial has other features that would assist lecturers in the creation of quizzes. So without wasting my time, these are the things that we're going to go through. Let us begin by creating a course. So I'll start by selecting the department of which the course will fall within. I'm going to create a course in Computer Science and Engineering department. So I'll click on Computer Science. So you can see there are two main courses that have been created so far. So at this point, I would want to create a new course. So what I will have to do is to click on the Manage Courses for me to create a new course. All right. So at this point, I'm going to click on Create New Course. I'll click on that. That takes me to the page to create the course. Right, so the course, we are asked to give the name of the course, the full name of the course. The course is called Computer Graphics. So for the short name, I advise we use the short code of the course, or the course code as we normally term it, CE273. And if mistakenly you forgot to choose the right department, you can select it from here. The course visibility tells us whether to show the course to the student or to hide it from the student. So we're going to maintain the default. The start date is when the course will start and when the course will end. So assuming the course will end somewhere on the 30th of May, I can select that and get it enabled. This particular section is very important. That is course ID number, which is just the same thing as this one. All right. At this section, we are told to give a summary of the course that we want to create. So for the students to know what this course is all about. So I'm going to type in something there. I already have something copied, so just to speed up things, I'll get it put here. So I'll give a brief summary of the course. Sorry. Okay, I keep getting this. Let me just, so I'll give a brief summary of the course in here. All right. Then I'll continue. If there is an image that you would want to associate with the course, you can just select the image from here by clicking any part of this and browsing to the location of the image. So you look out for where the image is, then you put it in, you load it into the system. So I have an image selected. So that is one way of doing it. The second way is to look out for wherever the image is and drag it into this particular section, like so. So if the image is located somewhere in my pictures, I will go to my pictures, locate the image and drag it into it. All right, so that is the second way of doing it. Now, course format. Most of the courses that we're going to create will be in the format topic format. You can also have it a weekly format, a social format. So by default, it's a topic format, and it's going to give us 4 sections. That is the number of topics that we would have in the course. So if you have more sections, you can select the number that is available. So for now, I'm going to maintain the 4 sections that is available. And at the appearance section, we're going to maintain what is there. The file upload, we maintain what is currently there. The completion tracking and all these, we're going to maintain them. So once you do this, the next thing is to click on save and return, and that will create the CE273 course. So from here you can see we have the course created. Now these 2 courses were not created by the lecturer, the current lecturer, so he has no hand on editing any of them. He only has the choice to edit the course that he has created. So after 24 hours, if this course is not deleted, it will be very difficult for the lecturer to delete in situations where he thinks the course, he made a mistake and the course is not important again, and he wants to come back to delete it. He will not be able to see the delete button. The only option will be to tell the administrator to delete it for him. Once the course is created, on the left pane we will see my courses, and clicking on it will display all the courses that the lecturer has created. So for now, we only have CE273 created. So I'm going to click on it to display the topics that will be available within the course. So as we saw earlier, we had 4 topics that is displayed for us. So at this point, the next thing is to load the content of the course materials. And to do that, the first thing you have to do is to look out for or locate the gear box or the gear icon that we see over here. This icon, we'll click on it and we'll select Turn on Editing. So Turn on Editing will give us the chance to start loading all the courses, all the course or lecture materials within this particular course, CE273. Now clicking on Edit Setting will take us back to where we created the course. So let me click on it briefly. So it takes us back to where we created the course and saved it. Alright, so let's go back again. So we now want to load all the course material or lecture material. So we'll click on Turn on Editing. and this would give us the chance to load these materials into the system. So you can see there are some blocks that are available for each topic. At the moment we have a section called Announcements, and all the general information about the course we will try and put them in here. Now for topic 1, if the course has like lecture 1, we're going to talk about introduction to maybe computer graphics. We can put all, the PDF or the slides in this particular section. Topic 2 will do the same. Topic 3, we're going to go through all of this and create or add the lecture materials into each of the respective topics. Alright, so let's begin. So the first thing that I want us to do is to edit the general section of this particular course. So at the general section, this is what we have. It's supposed to display some general information about the course. So the first thing is to click on, as you can see, it's difficult to type in here because it's read only. So I'm going to click on this, the custom, and this will give me the chance to type in something or a brief heading introducing the course. I'm going to type that and put in here. So I'm going to type general information in here. So at this point, we are also told to give a summary of the course over here. And this section is going to display on the page of the course. The other one that we did in setting up the course was going to display in the main page of all the main page of the computer science department, the image that we had, and all the courses that are available in the department. I'll go through it again as we proceed. So I'm still going to give out this course summary over here. Now, if there is an image that I also want to associate with the course, like the approved lecture materials for this particular course, I probably would want to put it in here. So I'm going to click the beginning of this sentence and add this image into the summary section. So to do that, I click here, and now, just as we know in Microsoft Word, we have the WYSIWYG, where what you see is what you get. You can see a bold here. So for instance, if I want to bold display, I can select it and click on bold. If I want it italic, I can also do the same thing. Alright, now I want to add an image, so I'll click this section and go to image. This is what is going to help us insert an image into our course. So now we are asked to give the location of the image. So I'll click on browse repository and I'll upload the file, the image file. So I'll click on that and it takes me to the page where the image is located. This time round, I'm going to select the fundamentals of computer graphics, which is the approved lecture material for this particular course. So I'll click on that and click on open. Then I'll upload it into the summary section. So at this point, I'm told to give a brief description of this image. So what I can do is probably say something about the image, and this is Computer Graphics Handbook. And if you don't want to give a description of the image, you can check this one and say the description not necessary, but I want to give a description to the image. And at this point, I would want to change the dimension of the picture. I want to use 200, and by maintaining the aspect ratio, by maintaining this with this checked, it will automatically adjust the aspect ratio of the image for me to insert. So I can now click on save image to insert into it. So you can see it's a little distorted over here. So what you can do is to click on the image again, click on the image, and this time round it says alignment bottom. So So we had a text going down. I would want the image rather to go to the right so that the text will be on the left. So I'll click on this, and this is how it displays over here for us to see. Now moving on, we just click on Save Changes to automatically save the changes and take us back to the main page. So now we have the general information about the course, and within that we've been able to load a picture of the lecture material that is necessary for this. Now I would want us to do the same for the other topics that will be relevant for the course. So I'm quickly going to go through topic 1, topic 2, 3, and possibly topic 4, and add some few information about it. Now this course has a practical section. So I'm going to click on this one, click on Edit Topic, click on Customize to make it easier for me to type something in there. What I'm going to type in there is Practical Lab with A-Frame. So A-Frame is the software that is being used for this particular lab section. And of course, I'm going to also do the same thing like I did for the other one and put in a summary and also include a link and an image into this. So I'll go through the same process. I'll load a new file, and this is the logo of A-Frame. So I'll click on that and I'll upload it. So from here I have to give a brief description if I have any for the course. For this particular image, if I don't, I will just omit it. And I have a description of the image, so I'm going to give it as A-Frame logo, which is the software that is being used. I'll maintain the size and change the location of the image with respect to the text. So I'm going to click on right to have it right aligned. Okay, so we also have this created. I'll say save. And that is about the practical section of this particular course. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go to the first topic that will be treated in the course. So mind you, everything that we're doing now is to load all the lecture materials and the information into the course before we start talking about the activities that we're going to embed in the course. So I'm going to load the first topic. So now it says topic 2, but in actual fact, because of the practical lab section that I created, that is gone. So I'm going to have to introduce a new topic by typing in the topic for the first topic for the course. So I'll type it in there, and it is called, it gives the introduction to computer graphics, and these are the topics or the things that will be treated in the course. Computer graphics, introduction, and the rest. I'll click on save to save this. I'll go back again and create the next one, which is maybe topic 2. Topic 2 will be treating graphic systems. So what I'm going to do is to type in information related to graphic system as the topic 2 and give a description of that. I'll save this, and finally, and also go to the next one, which is the topic 3, and put in the topic 3 information in there. So I'll check the custom, and topic 3 is related to input-output devices. I'm going to type in input-output devices. Input-output devices. Okay, I have in input-output devices. Now, at this point, assuming this point, assuming there is a YouTube video that is related to input-output devices, and what I can do is to go online and look out for the YouTube video and embed it into the course. So what I'm going to do now is to go to youtube.com and look out for maybe a tutorial on inputs and output device. So this is just to show us how to embed a YouTube video into our lecture material. Any video that is important. So I have here one which is available. Okay, so with this, what I'm going to do is to look out for, to embed a YouTube video, we'll have to click on share over here and click on the embed symbol as we have over here. And that will give us the chance to select these codes. This is a little technical, but we'll make it as simple as possible for everybody to get. So we'll select, we'll copy this code that we have in here. We can click on copy to copy it. Then we go back to our course summary page. And now from here, we can see an icon that drops down and gives us more options. Once that is done, we can see this one. This is what we call the HTML. This will toggle between the normal WYSIWYG and also creating an HTML or putting in code into the system. When we paste it here, what we copied from the other side and paste it here, it looks a little gibberish. So to be able to embed the YouTube link, what we can do is to click on this, and that will take us to the code. And now you can see there is a paragraph in here. You can just bring it back here and paste the code that we copied from YouTube over here and click this back again to bring out the video for us to see. So this video has now been embedded into our lecture material. So I'm going to click on save to save this particular video. There is a lot of space, so I'll go back again to reduce the space. I'll click on this. So now I have a YouTube video embedded in my lecture material, and this YouTube video is related to input-output devices. Now the next, so now assuming the course has 4 topics, but you can see we've exhausted all the topics that we had, so we have to add a new topic. So we'll go down here and we can see add topics. So I want to add an additional topic just to make it easier and quicker. I'll click on that. It asks us the number of sections that we want to include. It's just one topic that I want to include, so I can click on that. If you want to, you can type 2 in there and it will create a new topic for us. So this time round, I'll come back again to the edit and also add the name of the topic that will be treated in lecture or topic 4. So I'm going to type it in there, and that is scan conversion. I have in here scan, sorry. I have in here scan conversion. I'm going to paste it in here. That is it, the topic 4. And finally, I'm just going to embed another YouTube video that I already had in a lecture that was created some time back. So I'll just embed it into it and go back to make it easier for preview. So anytime you want to embed YouTube, you click on that, you paste it in there, you click it back, then it will embed again. Alright, so briefly, as quickly as possible, I'm going to click on save changes to save the changes in there. So now we've seen we have our courses taking shape. We have a general information, we have the practical section, information about the practical section and the software that is being used. We've loaded something in relation to the introduction to the course itself, and all these topics. You can see we have a lot of information in here now. We are still not done with the creation of the course. Now from here you can see we have topic 1, and I'm also having topic over here. Assuming you made a mistake and you want to change the topic, you don't necessarily have to click on this edit and go back again to do the editing. You can just click on this icon and correct it just within it. So instead of topic, I'm going to type lecture. Now press enter to change the heading of that particular lecture. Instead of topic again here, I'm going to type lecture. So we have lecture 02. Again, same thing for this as well. And finally for lecture 4. Alright, so now that we've given a brief description of the lecture, that's the topics that we have for this particular course, we can now load again the lecture materials into the course. Now to do that, as we already know, this is the book that the course will be based on. So we can load the lecture material in here. So one way to do that is to click on an activity or resource button that you have in here. So if you want to load the fundamentals of computer graphics, the lecture materials itself, the recommended text in here, you can just click on add an activity, and we have lots of activity in here. And the activity that we want to add is a file that I already have in existence. So I'll click a file, then I'll click on add, and it will give me the chance to load. It will give me the chance to put up an information about the file. So possibly if the file is, in this case, it is the recommended textbook. There is a description for the book. I can say this is the recommended textbook. Textbook for the course. There is an image, you can put the image. Then by clicking on this, it will display on the page, on the previous page. So now, where is the book that you want to put on? So that is where we'll click again. We'll go to file, upload a file, we locate where the file is, and we put it in there. That is one way of doing it. The second way is to locate the file and load it into the system. So I'm going to locate the file and load it into the system. I already have something in here, so let me just locate it and drag it into it. Right, so this time the original file is quite big. There is a PDF of the Quick Start Guide Virtual Learning Environment. That is what I'm using as the recommended text for this particular course. So the appearance, these are some other options that you might want to consider, but for now it's not so important. You can just click on this one and save. So this will load the information. So this is the recommended text that we have in here, and the text is there. That is one way of doing it. Assuming we wanted to load the recommended text in a different way, all we have to do is, once we have editing turned on, we can just locate the file from our computer and also drag it into it, and that is just about the same thing. So we've dragged it into it. If you want to change the name of the file, we just click on it and we change the name of the file. So that is another way of doing it. So now let's load each topic for all these other sections. So the next one is lecture 2. So for lecture 1, let us load the slides for lecture 1. So I'm going to locate it and just drag it into it. I'm going to locate it. Now drag it into it. So right, so C273 slides. Okay, so I've located it. So lecture 1 and lecture 2 actually was combined. So I have the PDF in here. I can go to lecture 2 and load the slide also. Go to lecture 3, that is input and output. I will also load the slide. Go to lecture 4 and also load the slide into it. And of course, you can do the same thing by clicking on add an activity. Alright, so once we have all the slides, of course, if you have more topics, you can load it. Once we have all the slides in here, then we are now ready to start by creating activities for the course. So now we've created all the lecture materials, we've loaded all the materials into the system. So now the next step is to create activities. Thank you very much. Okay, so at this point, we've already learned how to create an activity by loading a file. And the file is an activity. So we have other types of activities that we'll be talking about now. By default, the system already has the announcement activity loaded at the general section for us. So what we're going to do is, let's assume tomorrow at 6 p.m. we will have a lecture with our students, maybe an impromptu lecture. We want to notify them and let them know that there will be a lecture at 6 p.m., a live lecture at 6 p.m., so they should get themselves ready. What we can do is to click on the announcement, then we'll click on add new topic, and that is going to give us the chance to create an announcement for our students. So for instance, I'll call it reschedule of class. Okay, and this message to all students will be, we will be holding a reschedule class on the 6th, maybe on the 8th, assuming on the 8th of April 2020 at, let's say, 6 p.m. 6 o'clock p.m. at the mini auditorium. Alright, so maybe assuming this is the message that we want to send to all our students, we can now create the subject of the announcement and create the message itself and click on post to forum. So once this is done, this will give us, we are told that we have about 30 minutes to edit this. If we don't, automatically the schedule of class will be sent, message or announcement will be sent to all students' emails, so they will get to know. So you have 30 minutes to keep coming to this and editing it until this is actually ready to go. Alright, so with that said, I would want us to go back again to the course since we've already created an announcement. So it will not go yet, but it will, in 30 minutes, that will go. Students that have downloaded the app version of this system would be able to receive notification telling them about this particular announcement. Now, we have a class at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Our students are home. How do we get access to them? How do they come online? For us to have an online interaction with them. So this is how we do it. So at the moment, before we start and go to the next activity, which is the live video lecture, I would want us to create or invite students into our course. At the moment, we don't have any students attached to our course. And how do we know that? We know that by clicking on the participant link over here. So let's go there. We click on participant, and you can see there is no students in the course. So are we now going to load all students ourselves into the system? No. This is what we're going to do. Once we click on the participants section, there is a portion for enroll user. So click on that one to enroll our students. So these are options of enrolling students that are already in the system. Usually the administrator is the one to do this. But this is not what we're going to do. We are going to rather create some sort of link or something that will be given to the class reps to put on the class page for all students to use to come and access the course. So to do that, we will click on the gear icon over here, and we'll click on enrollment method. I'll click on enrollment method. Now by default, the system has three main types of enrollment. The manual enrollment, which is when you manually call on people to add to your course. Manually add people to your course. We have the guest access, which is guests being able to access your course, and self-enrollment, where the students can actually enroll themselves into the course. Now these two have already been these icons, you can see the I has been crossed out, means they are disabled. We've disabled the guest one mainly because we don't want people who are not students of University of Mines to know or to get access to your course. And this one has also been disabled, which is a self-enrollment. So I would want you to click on it to activate it. So this time around, based on the code that is given to the class rep to be given to each student, to the student, they will now enroll into a course. I'll demonstrate it over here. So now I'll click on the gear button icon and create some sort of enrollment key that will give people access to the course. So I'll click on edit and I'll create a key. It could be anything. Most people use the course code, maybe CE273, but I advise you don't use that. You create anything that's it's quite difficult for other people to know, to guess, just to enroll into the system. So it could be something like maybe CE at asterisk and anything that would make it easier, for students to know, make it difficult for people who are not students of the university to have access to it. All right. So this is going to be the enrollment key that I'm going to use to invite students into the course. So I'm going to copy this one and save it somewhere for future use for the students. So that is what will be given to the class rep. Okay, so at this point, that is the only thing that we will do. And we'll click on, before that, it says custom welcome message. So assuming you want to welcome the student to the course, you can say, welcome to the computer graphics course, something like that, and an email will be sent to the student. See you. All right, so this email will be sent to the students. All right, so once we've done this, we just click on save changes, and it saves it for us. So from here, you can see we still don't have any students within it. So now the code has been created. Now we want students to come into the system and use it. So how do they come in? So I'm going to log in from here as a student. I'm going to log in here as a student. And use the system. Sorry for the delay, just a few minutes, sorry. Okay, so this is a student. This is a student account. So at the moment he doesn't see any of the courses. So when he goes to students and goes to all courses, he sees if this student is a computer student. So he will look out for computer science and engineering department courses, and he will see the computer graphics that we just created. So he will click on computer graphics. From here you can see it is locked, and he's still unable to access the computer graphics. So that is where the enrollment key come into play. So he's going to paste the code that was given to him by the class rep to enroll into the course. Alright, so it says you are now enrolled into the course. So now this student is enrolled into the course, and he's able to see the lecture materials and everything that you have given, that you have loaded in the course. There are some situations where you don't want the student to see some part of the course. Of course, we can hide those parts. We'll go through it briefly. So I'll come back again. So I'll refresh the page or click on the participant to see if we will have a new user over here. Let's go. Click on participants, and you can see I have a new student called student UMAT, who has been enrolled into the system now 14 minutes ago. So this person has access to it. So from our courses, you already know that we've created an announcement. So if no changes is made, the student will automatically get an announcement telling him there will be a course at 6 p.m. on the set date in the email. Alright. So that is the first activity that we've talked about. That is the announcement. Okay, so at this point, we have a course set up. We have students enrolling into our course. Now we would want to teach the first topic in our course, which is Introduction to Computer Graphics. Now we move on to the next activity, which is the live video lecture with our students. So how do we do that? Just the same way. We will click on Add an Activity or Resource, and this time round we'll look out for an activity called Big Blue Button BN. So the Big Blue Button BN is an activity that helps us to create a live communication with students or conferences, or join people to join our workshop, whatever the case is. In our case, we are using that to have a live lecture with our students. So I'll click on Big Blue Button. If you want more information, you can just read this one to help you out. And this Big Blue Button has already been set up in ours. There is a server in the ICT unit that has been set up to take up all the pressures that will go on in relation to the live video. Right, so I'll click on Add to add the Big Blue Button. So once this is done, the next thing that we're going to look out for is the creation of a virtual room. So how is it done? So we will start by giving it a name, the name of the virtual room. And this name is going to be the lecture video section that we're going to hold for Introduction to Computer Graphics. So I'm going to type it in there as over here as the live video section that we hold with our students. From here it says instance type, activity, room activity with recordings. We can have room activity only, and we can have room activity with recordings, but we want to choose the default one which says room activity with recordings, so that those students that are unable to come onto the live section can always go back into the course and see the live lectures, or the live lecture that went on with the lecturer and the students that were present for that particular section. Now there is a portion to also send notification to students. So this will give notification to students telling them when the live section will be, for them to be aware of that. You can also click on more to give a description of the live section. So in this case, assuming you want to display the description in the live section, you can have it this way. So today's date is the 8th of April. So assuming it's 8th of April and we want to hold a section, of course you can have the day being Wednesday. So within the hours of, maybe I'm going to use 4 p.m. 4 a.m. That's the time I have in here. So 4 a.m. this is just a test. So you will specify the right time that the live video lecture will be with the students. So maybe 4 a.m. to maybe 4:15 a.m. with your students. So I'm going to give it 4:15 a.m. This could be the time that you schedule with, maybe with a student, just to let them know. Okay, so we would want to display this description in the course page, and we will want to send a notification. The activity rooms that we have in here, at this point we're going to maintain what is there. We can have a welcome message. You can type in a welcome message, welcome to the live video lecture. The recording setting, by default, when we start recording in the system and we log out and the session ends, the system would load all the video into the course for other people to have access to. Those that were not there, or even those that were there, will want to recap the video lecture that you had with them. So for participants, we are enrolling all our users. Anybody who has subscribed to be part of the course, is part of this particular, has the chance to be in this lecture. And they will all come in a form of viewers. They are going to view the viewers of the system, viewers of the lecture that the lecturer is going to talk about. And the lecturer is going to be the moderator of that particular section. Alright, so now we have to schedule the time that this course is going to hold on. Mind you, what we had here is just a description, but we need to schedule it for it to actually process behind the scene. So to do that, I'm going to schedule the 8th of April at 4 a.m. I said 4 a.m. and it's going to end 4 o'clock a.m. It's going to end on the 8th of, sorry, I have to check this one first. It's going to end on the 8th of April at 4:15. 4:15. Let's make it 4:10 to make it not so easy. So 4:10. I'll change the time from here to 4:10 a.m. Okay, so now we have an opening time and a closing time for the lecture. And the common settings, these ones, we are going to maintain the default through to the competency and save and return. So now we've scheduled a video lecture with our students, which is going to be about 8 minutes from now. So if I try to access this video lecture right now, it will tell me the conference has not started because of the time that has been given. This is now becoming redundant, so let me quickly go back again and remove it. Let me quickly remove the time. Okay, so I can go back and save. Alright, so I also have here with me the student account, so I'm going to come into the student account and see if indeed this lecture video to be held is there. Now, as the students gets to see a message here, a private message telling him, oh, live video session. So when he clicks on it, he gets to see the description and the date, the time, and the start time and the end time where the lecture will commence. So he sees all of that and he gets ready for the lecture. Alright, as we speak now, it is not time yet to take the lecture. So let's see if the students can see the live. Yes, so with the student account, this is the live video section. So he also clicks on it, and he also sees this conference has not yet started, and it gives the time when it's going to start. This is about 6 minutes from now. Alright, so let me quickly go back again and have a little hidden section as I talked about. So for instance, if the lecturer is not interested in hiding the scan convention settings, the scan convention lecture from the students, he can come in here, click on edit, and then click on hide for him to hide the whole of the section. It will gray out and it says hidden from students. So we have lecture 04 scan convention hidden from student. Let's check out from the student to see if indeed this is hidden from him. So we click on that. We have practicals. We have lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3. Lecture 4 is not available for us to see. It says lecture 4 scan convention is not available. So this section is hidden from the students. So that is the student account. So basically, the lecturer has finished creating the course. He's done with everything that he needs to do. Now he's ready to teach the first lecture on Introduction to Computer Graphics. So how does he do it? He set up his activity. He's just waiting for the time to be up for him to start. So you can plan, the lecturer can plan this ahead of time and meet the students anytime it's about time for him to lecture with the students. So I'm going to pause here and wait for a little while and come back to continue with the live video presentation with the students. Okay, it's almost time. Let me refresh the page and see if the conference, okay, has still not started. It's almost time. It's actually 3:59 here. Okay, let me refresh the page again. Okay, this should change. Oh, we are ready. So it says the conference room is ready. You can join the session now. So I'm logging in, I'm joining the session by clicking this. How would you like to join the audio? Microphone. I would want to use the microphone because I'll be the one to teach this course. So I'll click on microphone. I have to give access to my microphone. So I'll click on allow. And it tries to connect to the test server, which we already have created at the ICT unit. Hello? Hello? All right, this is a private echo. Speak few words. Did you hear yourself? Yes, I can hear. So, yes.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
So at this point, I'm the only person who is in this conference. So I'm going to start recording. You can select the record button again to resume. So I'm starting recording. So assuming I want to start the whole process for the students to have access to the recording of whatever happens today. Now, I'm the only person in the system now. I will have to get a student on board to be able to lecture. So once they have the right time, you always would see them coming up over here. So I'm going to log on to it as a student from here and join the section. So I'll join the session as a student. Okay, so we are getting a lot of echo and all of that. Mainly because I'm trying to switch things. All right, so now the next thing is just to load the presentation. So click on. I'll browse the file of the lecture load it here. To drag it, browse, I'll click on upload. It's loading all the. All right. So now I'm logged in. I can begin lecturing the students from this point. So this is the slide I have for the students. I can click on this, to lecture the students. So at the moment, these are there's only one student. When I come here, I can also chat with all the students. Hello. By clicking on this one too, I can privately chat with the students. Hi. So the student can respond to me. Maybe hello. Okay. So now I'm going to provide a link. I've actually provided a link in the PDF that will give you a tutorial on how to use this platform. From here you can add, can draw, make emphasis maybe your presentation, if you want students to know certain things that you want to emphasize in your presentation, you can do that as well in this section. You can continue lecturing from this point. You can draw, click this one to draw space. You can also invite other students to make a presentation from this side. So for instance, is the lecturer who is doing this. Now for the students, given assessment, you can also do certain things at this point, telling you the lecturer what you want him to do. You can also as well stop the whiteboard or deactivate most of the things that you want. Alright. You can also, from here, you can see share webcam. So assuming I want to show myself what is happening or what I'm doing, you can click on this one and give access to the webcam. I'll allow it. We're starting. So there should be a display of my display in here. For the students to see. So that is me. And this is the students section. And it's also able to see me. You can see the other options that I had here, the student does not have. So he's just in to listen to the lecture presentation. And I can also make myself and I can stop video on my webcam. Finally, I can mute myself for other students to talk. Assuming the students are making a presentation, I can mute myself for them to also talk as well. Okay, so I'm back. This is the way of continuing with your lecture. Completing your video lecture. I'm going to stop this recording. Log out. So once again, all the private chats will be here, the public chats will be here, the respective individual chats will also be here. You can mute all students. Mute all student microphones and other things. So at this particular point, I think I'm going to log out the system. Especially when I'm done with the video lecture. Click on end meeting or log out any of them. So I've ended the meeting with the students. Alright, so at this section you can also see that the conference room is ready because we've not really exhausted the time that was stipulated to complete this. So still, people can still join and see what is happening. But it's going to time out very soon. It's just about a minute away. So once it times out, it will take a little while to display the video that was recorded in the live video lecture. So let's give it a little time. It still has not, it's still not up to 4:10. So let's wait a little for the video to pop up, for the time to elapse, and the recorded video to display. So that is a way of having a live lecture with students that are away from campus. If you create an activity using the big blue button BM, you schedule the time that you want to have the live video section. An email or a notification is sent to the students to get themselves ready. You go online as a moderator, and all the students also come on board to listen to you lecture to them via the BBN, Big Blue Button application. Alright, so I think the time has elapsed. Let's see if the video is up. The recorded video is up. Well, it takes a little while to process the video that we had, so we'll give it some time and we'll come back to view the recorded video. We'll wait for a little while before we come back. Okay, so now our video is up. The recorded video lecture that we had with the students is up, as you can see from here. That is the presentation, and those are thumbnails or preview of it. We can hide this presentation if we want to. We don't want them to see the downloaded, the recorded video. We can also delete it from here if you don't want other students to see it. Now let's try and click on this one to see if we can see the session that we had previously. So it's the same thing that the students will do. So this is the session. When they click on it, so I'm starting recording. So assuming I want to start the whole process for the students to have access to the recording of whatever happens today. So from here, now I'm the only person in the system now. I will have to get the points I sent. So the student can respond. It's also able to see me. Now it's starting. So there should be a display of way of playing in the end. So that is me. Okay, so that is the recorded section. So we have that one embedded in the live video session that we had. Okay. So now we've gone through the live video section activity with our students. I would want us to go back again to our course and continue with the next activity. So now we've gone through how to set up a live session with our students to lecture. This was done for lecture 01, so we can as well create another live section over here for lecture 2 to teach them online. We can also do the same thing for lecture 3, lecture 4, and any other lecture that is available. So the next thing is to create the next activity, which is the feedback. So to do that, I would want us to put the feedback under general information. So I'll click on add an activity or resource and look out for feedback. So as the name suggests, we want to figure out what the student think about the course as a feedback. This might be so important so that we can better our lecture materials or maybe our style of teaching based on the reports that the student give us. And we can do this maybe halfway the semester to get feedback from our students before the quality assurance probably bring on board their lecturer student course lecturer assessment. Alright, so I'll click on add to add a new feedback and start the feedback process. Alright, so once this is open, the next thing to do is to give a name for the feedback. And this feedback we're going to talk about I'm going to give a name as your view on this course. I'm going to type in there your view on this course, and in the description section I'll say help us improve the course. So that is the name. And for the availability, our advice will make it open. So this feedback will be open till the time maybe you conduct it. So from the time you start lecturing, the students get to give feedback till the time maybe you pull it down or the lecture ends, maybe somewhere in the middle of the semester. For questions and submission, we'll record as anonymous, so we don't get to see which student said something about this course or any other course that we have. Allow multiple submission. We just want the student to submit one time. If you would want to run this feedback for the next 3 topics, maybe per topic, you can let students, you can say yes for the students to give what they think about each of the topics. And no is enough, they can talk about all these 3 topics in one session or one submission. So after submission, what do you want to say to the students? So we would want to probably tell the students, okay, thank you for your submission. Or thank you for helping us improve the course. Apart from that, any other thing over here, we'll maintain it as the default. So we save, and we now have a feedback. So when we click on it again, we get to see the feedback which says help us to improve the course for future participants. And at the moment we don't have any submitted answers. So I'm going to log in here as a student and submit a feedback to this particular course. I'm sorry, at this particular point we've not even created any question for the student to submit a feedback. So we'll click on edit and we'll create a section. We'll create some questions for the students to answer. There are 3 questions that we want, 3 types of questions that we want to put. The first one will be for them to fill out maybe some sort of comment. The second will be to give them an MCQ for them to fill. And finally, probably in a word, what they can say about the course. So the first one, I'll click on, it says add a question. So I'll say, let's come out with maybe a longer test question or answer. And the question is going to be, in your words, in one word, how would you describe this course? Let me use this one. Let me use this question. In one word, because I selected a longer text, I want something that would let them type something, a lot of information. So I'll get this thing written down. I'm going to use how is the course going so far? Maybe that's a question. And the width is the width of the page for them to type in the number of lines. I'll say save. So that will be at the first position. So that is the first question that will be asked. The second question might be a multiple choice question. And that will require the students to rate this particular course. So in rating, we will have the question as how do you rate this question on how do you rate this course, sorry. And they get the chance to tell us what they think about the course. And these are the options that are available, whether it's understanding, it's good, satisfactory, or it's poor. So that is a multiple choice question feedback for the student to answer, and it will be the second question in the feedback section. I'll save and I'll add the last question, and that is going to be maybe a short test answer. And that is the first question that I talked about. In one word, what do they think about? How would they describe the course? In fact, let's try, and when you check the required, it will force the student to answer this particular question. Alright, so I will maintain what is here and I'll say save. So now I have 3 questions in my feedback session. The first one says, how is the course going so far? The second is, how do you rate this course? And these are the options available for the student to fill. And finally, in one word, how would you describe the course to other students? You can see this red thing tells the student that it's supposed to be mandatory questions. So any question that you think we would want or force the student to answer, you can make it required. Alright, so when we go back again to review, we have 3 questions and there has not been any submission. So I'm logging in as a student here and make sure I fill the feedback to see if the lecturer to know what is going on. So I have the feedback section in there. I'm going to fill, how is the course going so far? I think I like how the lecture is going. How do you rate this course? Maybe outstanding. In one word, what would you say about this course? Say fantastic. And I'll submit. The students will submit their feedback. So when we refresh the overview again, we should see 1 submission. And so we have 1 submission. And now we can show responses to see what the student said. So response 1, it was anonymous, so we don't see the student who talked about or who gave feedback. So I think I like how the lecture is going or something. It's outstanding, fantastic. So this is a way of getting feedback from your students. So we've gone through the feedback activity in the course creation. So and that was found in the general section. You can add as many as you want or create as many as possible. So that is about feedback. Okay, at this point, everything that we've said and done has nothing to do with getting grades of students or marks for students. So the moment we start introducing activities like assignment and Turnitin Assignment together with quizzes, we get to take marks of students and put in a GradeBook. So to do that, before you create any activity that requires marks of students, it is always best to create a GradeBook to hold the marks. So I'm first of all going to create a GradeBook. To make it ready before we start creating assignments and quizzes for the course. So to create a GradeBook or get it set up, we come to the gear button that you see or icon that you see here. We click on it and we say GradeBook. We click on GradeBook Setup. Now, in UMaths, we have course assessment, and also we have the examination itself. I mean, continuous assessment and the examination itself. So I would want us to create these two categories to hold the examination together with the course, the continuous assessment. Our main concern for the virtual learning environment is the course assessment. But because this whole thing needs to be calculated into 100%, it's best we create these two categories. That is the continuous assessment and also the examination category to make it easier. All right, so I'll click on Add Category. Now it creates the category. Instead, I'm going to type continuous assessment. And I'm going to maintain what is already there. I'm going to maintain the natural, and I'm going to literally maintain everything that is here. I'm not going to touch any of these, and I'll save. I'll save changes. So the next category I'm going to create is the examination. So that is the examination category. I'll call it examination. So that is going to hold all grades for exams. And of course, we are not going to use it in the virtual learning environment. It's the course assessment, the continuous assessment that we are more concerned with. All right, so we need to give the marks for the continuous assessment. So we'll check this one and type the marks in there, which is 40 marks of 40. We'll type this. We'll check this one to also type 60 for the examination. All right, so once this is set, any assignment that we'll give to the students that needs to have marks will automatically fall in the category that we will push in there. So the gradebook as it stands now is ready for use. All right, so I'm going to go to the course homepage. I'm going to create an assignment that is going to just hold a Word document from the student. With the gradebook set up now, we can now create assignments to hold the marks of students. With this particular course, there is a section for practical, and the practical students were asked to create something and show to the lecturer. So it was an assignment for them to do. They see the lecturer, they present it to the lecturer live view for him to see and award marks to the students. I'm going to create an assignment activity under this and explain the other types of assignment that we can get without having to see students, without having to have students come to you to present to you what you expect them to do. All right, so I'll click on Add an Activity, and the assignment is located at the top. If you want more information about assignment, you can read this text. So I'll click on Add, and it will create an assignment activity under the practical lab section for me. I'm going to call this assignment as A-frame individual presentation. And mind you, A-frame was a software that was used for the practical section. So That is the name that is given to this assignment. So with this, the students were told to do something and come and present to the lecturer in real time for him to see. So they were to create a table with a minimum of 2 chairs around it. The table should have a Milo tin and also a milk tin on it. And you can add any other thing to the scene and come and present it to the teacher. So that was the assignment that was given to students. So I'm going to justify this and have this one at the left side. Okay, so that is about assignment creation for this particular section. Alright, so now I would want to display this assignment description in the page, in the assignment name section. The next thing is, if I have any file that I want the students to use or help complete this assignment, I would drag them into this section for them to download and use for the assignment. Now the available submission day for the student, or the allowed submission for the assignment, is on the 8th of April, and they are supposed to present it not later than 15th of April for the purposes of this. So if the student even finishes today, they can still bring it for me to grade them. So I'll maintain this one. And when you set off this date, the remind me cutoff, that is the time that you want the system to remind you to grade the assignments that the students have presented to you, or if to put online what the students have presented to you. So that is just one way of doing it. The cutoff by default is dimmed out, and it's if set, the assignment will not accept submission after this date without an extension. So as the name says. And basically, these are the 3 things that you will set. This is just a reminder for the lecturer to grade the assignments, especially in cases when they will send a Word document for you to view the documents and give assignment. And with this one, they were supposed to present it to the lecturer to see what they have done and award marks, possibly there and then in his when they do the presentation to the lecturer. Now the submission type. So I'm not really going to, with this assignment, we're not going to take any file from the students. We're just going to view what the student has done and give marks. So we'll uncheck this one. For the feedback types, we'll maintain all these. And the settings, the submission settings, we will maintain all these. Now, assuming we want to have a submitting type to include Word documents, we can have the number of uploaded files that the student can submit. So in that case, we can say maybe upload just 1 file, and the file should not go beyond 100 kilobytes. And we can also tell the system to only take maybe Word documents, which are called documents. So the system will automatically accept only Word documents and not any other documents. So if a person loads a picture or a zip file, it will not accept it. If the person loads a file which goes beyond 100 kilobytes, the system will also not accept it. But for the purposes of this, we are not accepting any file. We are not letting the students upload any file into the system. But rather, we are forcing them to come and present in real time what they have done to the lecturer. So I will uncheck this one. For the submission settings, I'm going to maintain all these. But the most important thing here, because it's an assignment, we would want to have grades for this, the assignment that is presented. So the type that we will select is points. The default one is points. We are going to maintain it, and the maximum grade that will be given to this assignment possibly might be 5. So for the practical section assignments, it is over 5. Now the next thing is the grading method. We are going to use the simple direct grading. So we'll maintain the default one. Then we'll select the category where we want this particular assignment to fall. And of course, it's going to fall under continuous assessment. This is not an examination, so it will fall under continuous assessment. And before I continue, I want to briefly go to the gradebook so that you see what I'm trying to talk about. So the gradebook setup does not contain any assignment or over here. It doesn't contain anything of that sort. So the moment we create this assignment and link it to continuous assessment, the grade to pass is, because it's not an exam, it's not really over 100, we will not touch this and keep all these default settings and click on save and return. So now we've created an assignment that is not taking any file from the students, but rather the student will just present what they have done for you to see and grade. So now going back again to the gradebook page and refreshing it, we should see the assignment showing over here. So that is the A-frame assignment, and it is the maximum marks that a student can get is 5. And then the continuous assessment we said is supposed to be 40. So any assignment that we have will be weighted and to get the total assignment. So at the moment we have 5 marks to hold for assignment, this particular assignment. So going back again, now the student is done with the assignment. He comes to me for maybe to present to me what they've done based on the requirement for this particular type of assignment. So the lecturer can just click on assignment, the assignment, and it sees there's just one participant. If you have 50 students, you see 50 students showing up automatically in the system, and from here you can grade the assignment. There are 2 ways of grading the assignment. The first one is to click on grade. That will take you to a page where you would grade the student. So possibly if the student showed me his assignment and I think his work is about 4.5, I can grade it by saying 4.5 out of 5. If there is a comment that I want to give to the assignment, I would give and the student will get to see it. So I'll save and go to the next student, or just save changes. Okay, so that it has been saved now. So I'll go back to the course, the assignment itself. Now that is one way of doing it. The second way is to click on view all submissions. So in this way, you would see all the students, that the system will populate all the students here for you to grade. So at this point you can edit, click on edit to update the grade of the student. To update the grade of the students. So just the same way. You can go back again to the submit. You can grade it, and we can also edit the grade. Alright, so that is about the assignment. We can also see quick grading over here. Quick grading allows you to assign grades directly in the system. So I can check this one to help me quick grade the student. So for instance, if I think I made a mistake here and it's supposed to get 4, I just press on 4 and press enter, and the student's grade is changed. If you have lots of students showing, you can grade all of them. Then when you are done, you click on save all quick grading changes, and it will take effect for all of the students. So that is about creating an assignment that needs to be presented to you. And I also spoke about if it needs to be loaded into the system For instance, if it's a drawing that they need to do, they can finish up the drawing, scan it, and load it into the system. You can also use the same process. At this time, you make a file submission for them to submit a file instead of having to not to submit a file. So based on the file that is submitted, you can view the file and grade that particular file. Alright, so that is about the creation of an assignment. Thank you. Alright, the next activity we will talk about is the Turnitin assignment. This is similar to the assignment that we just created. With the Turnitin assignment, we already know that Turnitin has to do with Word documents or documents, be it PDF or Word, to check for similarity reports and the rest. So in situations where you want students to probably write short notes about or research and bring short assignments in relation to short notes about some topics, or maybe their field trip reports, you want to mark it and you want to check and make sure students don't plagiarize their work. It's been known that most students usually do that. So with a field trip, we can use Turnitin to verify for the plagiarism or the similarity reports before we even start marking the assignment, the field trip assignment. And also in future, lecturers can also set up some for their students that they are supervising, so that they are able to check the similarity reports of the projects that they bring before they finally do a submission. So now let's create a Turnitin assignment, probably under lecture 2, maybe graphics system. Alright, so I'll click on add a new activity and scroll down to Turnitin Assignment 2. So if you want to know more about it, you can read this. Now click on add to start the process. So it's going to create the Turnitin activity under lecture 2 for us to commence. So I'm going to call this Turnitin Assignment. Turnitin Assignment. Sorry. And I'm going to type in this text in here. I'm telling them to write short notes on cathode ray tube, and I'm giving them things that they have to be careful about, making sure they upload the correct file, because they would have probably one chance to do this. And I'm also telling them to be careful what they upload, especially by telling them that if they plagiarize any part of their essay, they're probably going to have a score of 0 from here, as you can see. So you earn a 0 if you upload the wrong file, you earn a 0. If you plagiarize from your other students, you earn a 0. If there is no significant change with significant changes made from the initial draft that you sent to the final. But this time I'm not really going to let them load as many times as possible, but just a one-time load. So I'll click on this one to display the description for the Turnitin assignments at the lecture 2 section. So from here, of course, Turnitin allows for submission of file, document file. You can also give them the chance to just copy and paste the text in there, but I would want them to upload a file so that I can check out the file and find out the similarity reports. And again, the number of parts is I'm going to maintain 1. If you let them, you give them maybe the topic, notes, bring me an assignment in this for them from 3 different parts. Maybe you bring the first part as chapter 1, second part chapter 2, probably chapter 3. You can do that. The maximum file size, want the student to load is 100 kilobytes. I don't want any file that goes beyond that. So if it is 200 kilobytes, it's not going to allow the student to load this type of file. And again, allow submission of any file type. No, I want only Word documents. So I'll state no, I'll maintain the default. Display originality reports to students. This is an optional thing. If you want your students to see the similarity report of what they have done, you can show it to them, especially for the final year project. So that's when they load it to you, they load it on the system, they already are able to check that the percentage that they have for the similarity report is not the required one by the institution. They can always load another one based on the setting that you give them. So I'm going to maintain these few things. The grade display, I'm going to maintain it as a fraction. So if it's 5/10, I'll put it to be 5/10. The next one is the automatic refresh grade score. So this one, I want the system to automatically refresh the originality score and also the grades. And finally, because I probably might be having a lot of assignments with Turnitin, I would want to save the default setting without having to always configure this over and over again. This section is one of the important things. The maximum marks I want to give for this particular Turnitin assignment is 5. So I'll state 5 over here and put it under the continuous assessment category. The next step is the grade to pass is not so important to us because this is not the final work. Yes, we had assignment part 1 from here. So if we have 2 parts, it will also provide more parts for us to load. We'll maintain this. The due date, the start date is when the assignment is commencing. The due date is when it's supposed to. The post date is when you intend. The post date is when we intend. Sorry. The post date is when you intend making the student see, making all the students see the marks that is given to them at that particular time. So for instance, if I change the post date to probably a week after the due dates, and I mark people's work ahead of time, the students will be able to review, see the comments that I gave in people's work. So I always would advise we maintain the post date. And finally, the maximum marks is going to be 5. The originality reports, we will maintain these ones. Allow submission after due dates. No, we'll maintain all these ones and continue. Those are the default settings that have been done. The grade mat option, we will not use anything. We are going to maintain all these ones and save and return to the course. So now we've created a Turnitin similarity report activity pending the students to load the Turnitin assignment. So now I'm going to log in as a student and load. I'm loading as a student and check out what the lecturer wants us to do, wants the student to do. So going back again to this section, we have the Turnitin assignment that was just created. So I can click on Turnitin assignment. And if the student has finished working on this assignment, then he can upload his version of the assignment by clicking over here. So I'll click here to upload. I'll call it, maybe the student will call it Turnitin. It's just submitting the work. And it's going to either drag the assignments to the page or upload it. Any of them should work. So add a submission. So the student is adding, stating he's finished his assignment and is submitting his assignments. Once he does this, he does not have the chance to upload another assignment again. So the student has loaded an assignment, so the lecturer can always go back again to the section to see all available assignments that have been uploaded into the system and check for the similarity reports. Alright, so that should show, okay, the system has stated that the students loaded his work, his Turnitin reports. So clicking on this one takes us to the page where Turnitin shows us the similarity reports. So when we click on 77, the similarity report is 77. This is obviously a plagiarized work. So you can just close it. There are times some lecturers, based on the institution's percentage, immediately they see a high percentage in similarity reports, would not even work this and award a 0 mark to that particular paper. Alright, so the next section is the creation of attendance, the attendance feature. So to do that, I'm going to place it under the general information. So attendance is an activity, so we'll click on add an activity or resource and we'll look out for the attendance. You can read this to get more information about the attendance. So I'll click on start, or add, sorry, to add an attendance. So once I have this in here, I'm really not going to have any description for the attendance for now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to click on grade. In UAT, attendance is automatically 10 marks. So I'll change it to 10 marks and select continuous assessment as the category for the grade. I'll leave any other option as it is by default and click on save and return to course. So now I have an attendance created over here. I can as well move it up to have it at the top of all the other activities available under the general information. So to configure the attendance, now I've just created attendance. I need to configure it. I'll click on attendance, not to edit. If I edit, it means I'm going back again. So I'll click on the attendance and it will give me this section to do a real configuration of it. So now I need to be able to add sessions to this attendance. So I'll click on add sessions. So assuming the course will take place, will start within the semester on the 8th of April 2020. The time of my first lecture probably is going to be from let's say 8 a.m. through to maybe 9 a.m. That is the time for my lectures, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So I'll create a calendar event for this section and create multiple sections. So this is supposed to repeat. I'll click on the repeat the session above as follows. So if my lectures are on Monday, Wednesday, and probably Friday, then I'll select these, and this is the time that is given. It is an individual time, you would have to create it one at a time. So I'm going to repeat every week these, and until maybe the time that this lecture will end in the semester, that is 30th of May. And after, I'll click on on add. Of course, you can also allow students to take their own attendance, but you know, you can never trust students, so we'll always have it disabled. I'll click on add to create an attendance. Okay, so the session says the session date is prior to the course start date. Let me see the course start date. The course start date, I think, is a little different. So let me change the session date. Okay, it took effect. Let me go back again to find out what the course start date is so that we don't get confused. From here, when I created the course was starting on the 9th, and what I selected there was on the 8th. That is why we have that error. So we now know what the problem was. Alright, so on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for every week, those are the times I'm going to have my lectures. I can always come back and also do editing of the time if I need to do the editing for that particular day of the scheduled class. Alright, so I'm going to cancel and go back again. Alright, so now virtually every week we have the dates automatically created for us. So in situations where there are holidays, you can always come in and select those holidays and delete it from the attendance list because there will be no class for those days. So I just selected 2 days and deleted it off. Now from this side, the status set, you realize that these are the types that are available for assigning marks to students. So if the student was present, then they get a point of 2. It depends on if you are taking about 5 attendance within the semester and you want to make any of them as 2 points, you can also do the same thing. If you're taking 10, then you can change it to 1. So at the end of the day, you have about 10 marks to give the students. And this, if the student is late, you have a 1 point. If the student excuse himself by giving permission, you have 1 point. It depends on all of this. You can delete whichever one you think is not appropriate or relevant for you. And again, even if it is 2 points by the system, depending on the number of times that you meet, the system automatically, and if it goes beyond the 5 or it's about 15 times, it automatically adjusts irrespective of the 2 point that is given to the 10% mark that you set up from the system. Right, so I'll update this. So basically, I'm done with the setting up of attendance for students. Now, anytime I'm ready to take as the attendance when I go to class or when the lecturer goes to class, is to click on this icon over here to take an attendance. So on the Monday of 13th April, if he goes to class, you see the list of all the students here. At the moment, I have only 1 student in the class, so I can automatically click on the attendance, the person was present, and save the attendance. So in about the first 5 minutes of your stay in class, you can always take attendance for the students and click on save attendance. Okay, so this, each and every time that you go to class, you click on that one to take attendance of students, and that will automatically be added to the gradebook of the student, the gradebook of the student. So let's go back again to the gradebook to see what is available at the attendance section. So you can see we have attendance already here. We have our Turnitin assignment, and we have the assignment that we created, that the student came to do a presentation for us, for the lecturer to see. So in total we have 20 marks. So we're left with 10 more marks, 10 for attendance, and we have 10 more other 10, so making 20. So we have 10 more marks to give to get the 40 marks for continuous assessment. So now let's go to the creation of a quiz. So now let's assume we are in the middle of the semester and we want to conduct a quiz. Moodle has a feature of creating an activity called quiz, where students can either take an MCQ quiz online, or also take a fill-in quiz online. Any type of quiz, it supports all these type of quiz. So for instance, maybe after lecture 3, if you want to organize the quiz at this particular section, I can click on the add activity or resource and look out for the quiz feature or activity in here, which is quiz. You could read and see more options of the quiz. So once I have that selected, I can click on add to create the quiz activity or resource. I'll give a name to the quiz. Maybe I would give a name like this is supposed to be maybe the midterm quiz. So I'm going to type in here midterm quiz. Just a minute. A mid-semester MCQ quiz for the students to take. Okay, so once this is done, I can also give a description of the quiz itself, so the students have an idea of how the quiz is going to be. If you have an image, just like what I've been talking about, or even if you want to record a video to explain to the students how the quiz would be, you can click on the video icon over here, and it gives you the chance to upload a video, or you can record a live video from this section by clicking on this. You can start a recording to record yourself and give them a brief video of telling them how the quiz is going to be organized. So I'll close this. I will not add the video from this point. I'm going to display the description for the quiz in the quiz section. Then the timing is very important when the quiz is supposed to take off. So assuming the quiz is taking off today at exactly, let's say 7:10 a.m. Let me use 7:05 a.m. I would select today's date, which is on the 8th, and select 10 a.m. Sorry, 7:10 a.m. Let me make it 7:05 so we can take the quiz as quickly as possible. The close of the quiz would end somewhere, let's say 7:10. Okay, and this quiz, the time limit, you can omit it, you can forget about it. But this is just a 5-minute quiz. Let me make it 10 so I can explain how let me make it 10 and 15 over here. It's still a 5-minute quiz, and it says when time expires. So based on where the student is, if the student is on the 5th question and the system times out, automatically the answer for the 5th question is stored in the system and graded. So open attempts are submitted automatically without the student submitting when the time elapsed on the student. So the grade, we just have 10 more marks to add, or 20 more marks to add from the continuous assessment. So we're going to grade this quiz as 20 marks. And from here, the number of attempts allowed could be unlimited. It depends on, so that the student can go back and also make changes to some of the answers that they probably selected in the quiz. Alright, so I'm going to maintain the default setting over here. The grading methods, I'm going to use the highest grade. The layout, for me, I'm going to maintain all that is available over here. The feedback section will also use the default setting. This side is very important. You don't want the student to see the mark while they are taking the quiz, the correct answers while they are taking the quiz. So I advise you uncheck all of this, uncheck all these, and show them only the marks when they are done taking the quiz. So after the quiz is closed, this is what will happen. Whether the student can review the attempts at all. We don't want them to review the attempts. We only want them to see their marks, and also probably an overall feedback if there is any for them. Okay, so with that said, we're going to maintain all the settings that are available over here. Going over the settings again, we've already set out this. We have the timing also set. Let me change it to, I think, 7:20 to make it quite easier for me to quickly set up the questions so we can go through it. I'm going to change this one to maybe 25. So we have 5 minutes to complete the quiz. Because the grading, the continuous assessment, select the continuous, and it's a 10 point. By default, it saves the quiz grades to be 10. So you can, I would advise you keep up with the 10 and make the necessary corrections when you start uploading the questions. So for the layout, we want every question to appear on a new page. We don't want the questions to be on one page. The behavior of the questions, we want to shuffle the questions. So the question 1 of one student will be probably question 3 of the other students, and the answers in the same question will also be scrambled. If the answer is A for the first student, it probably would be a B or a C for the other question. For the review, as I already said, I would want this after the quiz, I would want the student to be able to see their mark, the overall mark, and also if there is any review, we'll be able to check. The appearance, we're going to maintain all these, and the number of decimal place, we're going to give it a 2 decimal place. The extra restrictions, we're going to maintain the default. If you need to, if you want to know more about each of the headings, you can just click on this one and read about it. But for now, we're just taking up the default setting after setting these ones. So I'll click on save and return to the course. Alright, so I've saved it. Now I'm looking out for the quiz, which is a midterm quiz, which is supposed to start on the 8th at 7 a.m. Please let's forget about this one. On the 8th at 7:20 a.m. to 7:25 a.m. It's now 7:09, so we have time to have a little time to bring out the question and explain to it, and explain how we set our questions, MCQs in the virtual learning environment. So we are told that there is no questions have been added. So we need to create questions and add questions to it. There are ways of doing it by adding question one at a time, which is quite difficult. So I would advise we rather upload a sort of questions that we have. So I'm quickly going to go through a sample question that I have, a sample MC questions that the VLE would take, will understand and take for this. Alright, so as quickly as possible, I'm pulling it on the page. So okay, so this is a sample question that the VLE system understands. So what can be done here is we have, it is an MCQ questions. So this is the question: free of cost repair of software bug available at the internet is called, and these are the answers. So we have A, B, C, D, and the final answer being put here. So if you want to set up an MCQ, then the format should be in this way. The first line, you open a text document by clicking on Start and select and looking out for Notepad. So this is a Notepad application, and you type it in here. So I have the question. This is the question, and the answer, I have A, full stop, space, and the answer. B, full stop, this. So these are the available options for the question, the MCQ question, and the right answer is D. This is the second question as well. So after this, we just press enter to give a new space. We come to the next question, we go through the same process, and we come to the answer. So it says none of these. For questions, for answer that's probably say A or B, and we should be mindful because the answers will be shuffled. So we go to the next question. So it's also which of the following is the correct format of email. So that's the question. The available answers is A dot. So this is the format that you need to get your question in, so that you can load it into the Turnitin. You can load it into the VLE system. So at the moment, this is the sample question. So I have it saved. I'm going to load it into the system without having to create the question one at a time myself. So if you have about 100 questions, you can put it in this format and automatically load it into the system to pick it up. So I'm going to close this or bring it here to select the question. So to do that, I'm going to look out for, since there is no question in here, so I'll go back to the course, go to the gear icon, and I would look out for, sorry, let me go back again to the midterm. I'll right click on this, and over here you can see question bank. And we have in here import question bank. Right at the side, at the question, we can click on this one and look out and scroll down to question bank and import question bank. So I'll click on import question bank, and this takes me to a page where I can import the question bank. Now the file format that we created, the file that we created that holds, this file that holds the question, is a notepad file, and it's a .txt file. So what we can do now is we have to select the icon format. There are lots of formats that are available. You can also have a Word format. Maybe in a later video I will show how we can also get the same process in a Word format. But it's best when you have it in the notepad format because it's plain and it doesn't add any formatting to it. So we select the arcane format, then we will maintain the general information that we see here. In cases where there are errors, if errors not listed, these are some of the things that can go through, but we maintain the default. And now I'm going to bring the question that I've created, the sample question, and I'll click on import. So now these are the questions. It says passing questions from import file. Importing 5 questions. These are the questions that were put in. The questions that I've created. 1, 2, 3. There were 5 of them in all. I'll click on continue to finally import into the system. So at this moment, the question has been imported into the system. So we have the question imported into all the MCQ questions imported into the system. That students can now take the quiz. Okay, so we'll have to go back again to the MCQ question. And this time round, you're supposed to load the questions in here. So once we've loaded the question in the question bank, we'll click on edit quiz. Okay, so by default the maximum grade is 10 over here. We'll change it to 20. Then we'll select the multiple items. We'll select the new questions that we have from the question bank. So I'll click on that. This is the default questions that we have. So I'm going to click on this one to import all these questions that we uploaded into the system. So I'll add the selected questions to the quiz. So I have the questions in here. As I said, I would want it to be shuffled. So I'll click on shuffle to shuffle the questions as well as the answers also. So I'll change this one to 20 and save the questions in the question bank. It's now 7:21. So I'm quickly going to take the quiz as a student to know what is happening. So I'm going to log in as a student. I'll come here and log in as a student into the course and look out for the quiz that is online for me to take. So it is under the section lecture 3, sorry. I'll click on the MCQ quiz. Then the time is 5 minutes, and the attempt I now get the chance to start the quiz. So I click on attempt, and it gives me some information. The quiz has a time limit of 5. The time will count down from the moment you start your attempt, and you must submit before it expires. Are you sure you want to start? Yes. So usually when you are setting up a quiz, you give a window of about, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes so that students who do not log on to the system as quickly as possible will be able to still have the stipulated amount of time that is given to the quiz. For this case, it is 5 minutes, so you can give a grace period of 10 minutes. So the quiz will start from maybe 7:20 and end at 7:30. So within the 5 minutes windows, the students who are unable to log on as quickly as possible still have the 5 minutes that they need to complete it. Because at 7:30, exactly 7:30, the system would close. Alright, so I'm going to answer. I have just 1 minute remaining. 1 minute 30 seconds remaining to complete this quiz. But the internet was originally a project of which agency? I'll select an answer of my choice. I'll go to the next. HTML is used to create a web server or web page. I'll select my answer. go to next. Which of the following is the correct format of email address? Mind you, I'm still logged in as a student, so I'm taking the quiz as a student. So I'll select my answer. I'll go to next. I have 47 minutes, 44 minutes, seconds left. Free of cost repair of software bug availability at internet is called a patch. So we have patches for operating system and the rest. I'll go to next. I have the final question. The computer jargon, www stands for what? Worldwide Women, World Wide Web. So that is the answer I have. So I'll select that. Okay, assuming I'm done and I still want to return to and make an attempt, I can do that. If I don't click on submit, automatically the system would take my time and the attempt has already been finished. So automatically, because I finished filling the form, automatically all my answers should be in the system. So I'll click on continue and go to the GradeBook to see, oh, I had 5 marks. There were 5 questions, I had 5 marks and I'm getting 20. So to see my grade as a student, I can just scroll down to the section that says grades to see all the grades that have been awarded to me. So at the GradeBook section, for the assignment A-frame individual presentation, I had 4 marks. For Turnitin, it has not been marked yet, so I don't have any mark for it. Attendance, I have 10 marks. Mid-sem, I had 20. So in all, I had 35. Waiting for the, the total calculation has not been created, so I have 34, waiting for Turnitin to be calculated, to be marked, and also the calculation will be done. Alright, so that is about the MCQ type of quiz. Later videos will also come on how to set up different types of quiz, but for simplicity, it's easier setting up MCQs in the format that was given in this tutorial. So that is the features and most of the relevant features that the virtual learning environments, these are the relevant features that we want to introduce lecturers to. There are more to come, but for now we can have a quick start and use some of these features to have an online class with our students. Thank you very much.